Hello everyone, it's episode 51 of the General Damage Podcast.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey everybody.
Yes, and because I don't think we even introduced ourselves from last week when we should, and we keep trying and we don't and we fail and I'm messing up this whole sentence, but fuck it. I'm Nick.
I'm Will.
And I am Shane.
Yay.
We did it!
We did it. It's been a week.
Yeah, God, it's been
Tense moments at work where I don't want to be.
busy fucking week.
It was a long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here in California, the weather change didn't really help. Like, it was an instant weather change, and now it's an instant weather change back.
God, I'm so tired of this. Like, can it just be, like, if I have to endure sun, can it at least be, like, 69 to 70?
Right.
Can
Well, it was about 70 today.
Yeah. Can at least be in that, like, comfortable, okay, it's sunny, but, like, there's clearly a breeze going on, or, like, it's cool enough, instead of, like, fucking yesterday at the shop, many mistakes were made, and a number of it on my own part. One of which was, I decided to wear pants yesterday, and yesterday was about 90. It was like 80 to 90. And,
in the shop?
Oh my god, yeah. And so,
okay, because it was only 83 yesterday.
Yeah,
from what I heard.
It was about 90 in the shop, and it's just like, I'm in pants. I have my work polo on, and I typically wear like another shirt under the work polo, so that like after work I can tear that thing off, throw it in my back seat, and then drive home. But God, it was like, I'm tired, it's hot, and now I'm just every like mixed version of angry and like miserable. It's just the worst.
Sounds like me last Wednesday.
Yeah, I hate fucking hot weather.
Well,
yeah.
It's been freezing here.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, I found out they're like, hey, there's gonna be a snowstorm, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's 50 degrees, and they go, nope, cold snap. It's gonna be 0.
Oh shit.
Yep, and then
I was chatting with Ashley yesterday. She said it was 14 degrees.
Yep, up in Boston, it was literally wind chill, real feel 0.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the best part was, while up in Boston, I look at the weather forecast and it goes, 3 more storms on the way. Expect blizzard conditions Monday and Tuesday.
Good lord.
But what happened?
God.
What happened was it goes, nope, wait, it's going to be a blizzard, and then immediately followed by a heavy rainstorm.
Good lord.
Damn. You're going to get ice rain.
Well, actually, the interesting thing was it heated up so quick that it went from 25 degrees to 44, and the rain melted all the snow in the same storm. But it was like morning, ice, can't see shit, blizzard conditions. It might as well be the fucking third winter of the world. Instant rainfall, and look at this, we're ready for spring.
No spring.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not ready for spring. How about we pass on it still?
I mean, I live in a place where spring might never come.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
We live in a place where spring makes guest appearance in winter.
Yeah, it does. Or sometimes that is all that winter is just spring weather.
Yeah.
And it's pretty miserable because of it.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Will, or about you guys both, but I get tired of people, like, when it's a sunny day or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is a gorgeous day. I'm like, am I the only one that feels miserable?
No, I'm with you, mate. My retort is like, man, today's such a fucking miserable day.
So,
they're like, why, it's sunny? I'm like, yeah, that's the problem.
My problem is, I like the in between weather of 65 to 70.
Sure. Yeah.
Because out here, if it's 50 degrees, it's gonna drop to 30, and my skin peels off. But I'm also a bigger guy, and therefore, if it's above 70, I will suffocate to death.
Yeah.
So like, I will only say it's a beautiful day when it's like temperate outside, and I'm not dead. Otherwise, if it's like I can't breathe either or, because I will die in really cold weather, really hot. I'm like, what? Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know how I would be in like extreme cold weather, but I'm a big guy too, so I prefer it.
I mean, I like 40 degrees as long as it's no precipitation, but that's not happening out here.
Right.
Because the problem is if there's any moisture in the air and then a cold snap happens, like this weekend, instant ice freeze over, instant snow. And while I enjoy snow, I don't like my knuckles cracking open.
Yeah, I saw. You just reminded me of something I saw. I probably can't find it, but it was a GIF on Reddit. It was tricks to do in the East Coast in the snow, and it was a guy. He was in his car, and basically what he did was he rolled down his window, but then there was still a sheet of ice perfectly that molded around his window. So he just smashed his head through it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm like, okay, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because that just seems kind of neat to me in a stupid way. But yeah, it's, shit like... So I imagine Ashley's truck is covered in a sheet of ice.
Well, I mean, state troopers pulled over a guy who didn't dust off his fucking windshield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 2 inches of snow. And he's
Jeez,
driving
dude,
with
what
that.
Wow.
That's messed. That flew off. That flew off. It could damage something.
That's called a mass hole, everybody.
Yeah, right.
It's so cute we gave it its own name.
That's a way of putting it.
It's one way of putting it.
That's just being really bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it.
Still him it.
Yeah. Well, things to talk about. I have been gaming a lot lately, which, I mean, like, game all the time, but it's something I've been, I have all these things. I should get back into them. Mm-hmm. I should finish how many games do I have to finish? 5 or 6 games that I still have, which is like Doom, Diablo, Mad Max, which I barely started Mad Max. Mm-hmm. All Sleeping Dogs, all these fucking games that I should, play. But I've been playing Gears of War, which I beat again, finally. Got all the collectibles. And yeah, I used a guide because there's no fucking way I was not gonna find them all. Because literally, I think the last one was second to last one, which was, okay, you see that firefight with the robots in the swarm? Alright, we'll ignore the firefight and go right. And I would not know to go right if I wasn't told. Mm-hmm. And you go down this alley, which is fucking long as hell, and has a few twists and turns, which makes me think it's a path to go around the whole firefight. And there you find the last cog tag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then the other one was like behind sandbags, which again, it's one of those hidden things. You would totally miss it if you weren't like looking extremely detailed at it, excruciatingly looking around for it. So, but I did it. I beat it. I beat it on hardcore, and I got all the collectibles and stuff. And then I got disappointed when I looked at my achievements. The score I have for the whole game overall. Yeah. And I only have 270 points.
Alright.
Which is upsetting because like the last 3 I've gotten over 300.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I want more achievements. So I'm like racking my brain, what can I do to get more achievements with the multiplayer shit? Mm-hmm. And I was playing King of the Hill, and this is the thing that pissed me off on Monday. So I was playing King of the Hill. And I was playing, I don't like what Gears did, where you can play social, which is, I guess, their casual way, but you don't get to pick the game you play. You're just rotated into different game types.
Okay. Yeah.
So one game could be Versus, another could be King of the Hill, another could be Arms Race or Dodgeball or whatever. And it's like, I just want to, let me pick a type. And no. Or if you want to pick a type, you have to be ranked in it. So, to rank in any of the game types, you have to play 5 matches, and then you get a bronze level, and then you can go up from bronze.
Huh.
It's aggravating. So on Monday, it really was. So on Monday, a bad day. It's hot. Allergies are getting to me. I'm playing this fucking game, and it was just nonstop getting like the crap kicked out of me in the entire game because the other team was just not letting up. And they just kept going and going and going. And it was like I played 2 matches, and it was the same teams every time, so I kept getting my ass kicked. So I got out of the lobby, got back into the lobby after 5 minutes of waiting, still the same fucking teams. And it was like ridiculous.
That's frustrating.
It's the frustrating thing with multiplayer games where developers constantly come out and say, okay, we're going to match people with the appropriate skill levels. It's going to be fair, and it's never that. I'm constantly playing people who've re-upped, which is Gears of War's Prestige, 5 or 6 times, or even more than that. They've re-upped the max level, which is 10.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating. I just want to play the game and just have. And it was one of those things. Got home, went to an appointment. The appointment is what it is, therapy, and that kind of messes with your head a little bit. And then I go home, try to relax, play a game. The game pisses me off, and then it's just one thing after a fucking another. And by 10 o'clock at night, I hate everything and everyone. But yeah, I had a better game yesterday, so
that's good.
Yeah, I got the most kills I've ever fucking gotten in Gears 4.
What was your kill count in the end?
25.
Damn. That's pretty solid.
It is solid. It was all King of the Hill. And the trick with King of the Hill is the Nasher, the shotgun. Because you walk into the ring, and then you just pull the trigger, and everyone's there should be liquid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's a bit overplayed. Because it's like, okay, just use a shotgun, and that's it. You don't need to worry about anything else. So it's kind of shitty, but I had fun and I ranked. I got bronze. Woohoo! I don't really care. I just want to play the fucking games. I don't really care about the rank. But I did well, so I'm kind of happy about that. King of the Hill was my favorite mode in Gears 3.
It is a sweet mode. The times I got a chance to watch it.
Yeah, it's a great mode, but in Gears 3 it was wonderful because if you had the sawed-off shotgun, because I got a ribbon in Gears 3. I remember, I can't talk. In Gears 3, I specifically got an awesome move when I combat rolled into the ring, and the opposing team was all there, and I had the sawed-off and got them all. Because you have to be within like 3 feet of them, and it has such a wide burst and it's so powerful. All of a sudden, all five team members of the opposing side are just gone. And I got a ribbon called Genocide.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this is cool, and I hunker down. And the next thing I knew, the ring was mine. So, yeah, I'm trying to get back into Gears when I should be playing other games. I should definitely try to finish Shadow of Mordor because Shadow of War's coming out in 5 months, right? August. It's March now, so 5 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, there's one thing I want to talk about that I find it hilarious. So, you guys saw the trailer, right? The gameplay trailer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so in the gameplay trailer, they showed a few of your allies. They showed that dude who could ride the cavalry, and then they showed the destroyer, who's like, I think he's a troll, right?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
He's a troll, and he's like Aslar the Destroyer. There's a video I saw. There's probably a few more out there where everyone was tweeting "R.I.P. Aslar the Destroyer." Like, it's like a minute-long video. It's really stupid, but it was like 1,000 tweets about this fucking character and how he died in the video, and no one liked that he died because they thought he was a chill dude. It's fucking weird what the internet just latches onto.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind having Aslar in my team, in my army, if and when I ever get that game.
Dude, who doesn't want a troll on their team?
Who doesn't want a few trolls on their team? I probably would have made the troll the fucking overlord of that fortress. Actually, apparently, it's gonna be going out. The game will be going outside of Mordor.
That's good.
Yeah, so we might see humans. We saw humans in the original game, but we might see humans fighting with humans or fighting against humans. I don't know.
We might actually see soldiers and warriors and
Well, yeah, from what I heard, okay, I thought that this had no play in the Lord of the Rings story. I thought it was just the developers going, people love it, fuck the books, and just make their own shit.
Yeah.
But apparently it's supposed to take place between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, no, that wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, it could, but should it?
It shouldn't. Okay, Shadow of Mordor, the first one, yeah, sure. It can be in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. This one, no. Because the whole plot is he makes his own ring of power, Sauron's back. Where does that fit into the lore? You know, it just kind of messes with the whole story in general. So for it to be jammed in there is stupid. Throw the books out the window and just go with your own shit. But they don't want to. So I think it's stupid.
As long as characters from the main story don't pop up,
yeah,
I don't care.
I agree with that.
Now, granted,
ugh.
You know who I'd love to see?
Who?
The Blue Wizards.
Maybe.
Just because,
but
out of all the wizards, there's two of them. They're the only two that share that rank, and you never hear about them.
Well, I mean, Gandalf said it the best. They disappeared and he forgot their names, so they're unimportant.
But Radagast isn't.
I don't really give a fuck about Radagast either. Yeah, to be honest, I don't want to see wizards in this game. You know, I'm a badass archer who's got an elf inside me that does cool shit. Why the fuck do I care about a goddamn wizard?
Well,
I know, that's just me.
Well, I mean, it's just there are so many characters, right, in Lord of the Rings. But the only reason why I bring up the wizards is because, there's only 7 of them. Or 5. There's
5.
just a handful of them.
Yeah, there's only 5. Yeah. There's Sauron, Gandalf, Radagast, and the 2 blue wizards.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and Sauron doesn't even count because he gets banished.
Well, yeah, and at the same time, Gandalf doesn't even count, too, because he dies and gets reincarnated as another Sauron. He takes over what Sauron should have done, so...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
You mean, are you talking about Sauron or Saruman?
The White Wizard, Christopher
Saruman.
Lee.
Okay. No, because you're saying Sauron.
This is the thing. This is the reason I hate the fucking movies sometimes.
Well, I mean, it makes kind of sense because Sauron and Gandalf are the same race. They come from the same existence. Saruman also does, though. It's just...
So does the Balrog.
Yeah.
The Balrog and the Wizards are basically the same thing, just they took different classes in school, I guess.
Took on different forms. Sauron became an elf, like Galadriel, for whatever fucking reason he thought that was smart.
All noobs play elves.
Now, granted, if anyone who's listening to this knows more than us, please let me know, because my Tolkien is really rusty.
You should watch, I think it's CP Gray on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
I'll link it to you later. He does some really good videos, just informative videos, and he does 2 parts of the Lord of the Rings and all the lore and stuff.
All right.
And it's fantastic. I'll message you. I'll find it and link it to you later.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah. If fuck it all. I just want to play a really cool badass ranger in Mordor, in an R-rated Lord of the Rings game, I guess.
Fair enough.
Because we're not going to get those movies.
Well, I mean, Will plays a badass ranger in a video game.
Are we talking about Horizon now?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
We're going to talk about Samurai Jack, but you guys didn't see it, so.
I mean, alright, to be fair, Saturday was kind of a haze of a day, so I didn't get home till, I guess 1-ish, so yeah. I was pretty, tired after that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I've been, I've been jamming real hard on Horizon, and I think I'm almost done with the game, which makes me sad. But that game's story is fucking brilliant. I've been loving the shit out of it. There's so much I want to talk about and the intricacies and stuff. But there are two groundbreaking things that finally happened for me. Early on in the game, you find out where what part of the U.S. the game is situated in. I was like, that's sweet. And then the second big spoiler was how much time has passed. And it's you get an idea of, through a bunch of the data logs that you pick up, what was kind of the last bit of recorded history, digitally recorded human history. And then you're given a sense of how much time has passed. And it shocked the shit out of me, how much time has progressed and where the game's setting actually takes place. And then kind of the big reveal is, finding out why the name of the game is the name of the game, and also what it has to do story wise. Those were all kind of just really big, crazy impactful moments for me, and I was like, damn, this game decided to go pull out all the stops on setting up a very, very interesting world ending scenario, and kind of what became of it, and how things are the way they are, and why they're specifically that way. It was just all very, very cool and very surprising. And I'm still not done with the game, so I'm just I can't wait for the to play out the end of it. I'm really excited for it because I think it's going to be freaking awesome. Because the game's just been a lot of fun, and just really good game. So I cannot recommend it anymore to people that if you have a PS4 and you like third person shooter games, pick it up, because it'll be a blast. You'll have a lot of fun.
If I had a PS4, it would definitely be on my list.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people that I've chatted with that don't own a PS4, they own an Xbox, or they don't own either console, and they own a PC. It's if I could get this game without having to own a PS4, I'd do it in a heartbeat, because everybody talks about how awesome it is, and yeah, it's all true. It's all real true, which is sweet.
So you remember when last podcast I was talking about Microsoft doing that whole $10 a month you can stream a game?
Yeah.
So PlayStation's looking into that as well. You can get PlayStation Now, I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're looking into doing that on the PC.
Interesting. Ooh.
So if that's the case, then I don't need a PS4.
I was gonna say, sounds like, Nick, you may luck into what we refer to as a win.
Possibly. I mean, we don't know. This is Sony, and sometimes Sony isn't bright.
Yes, that's true. So I mean, it's a lot of this is there's no confirmation that yes, this is 100%. This will work. Yep, this is how it's going to be. This is everything will work fine and dandy, peachy keen.
Yeah, we won't know anything until probably June when E3 happens.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's all we have.
Yep.
Is seeing what happens at E3, And at the same time, when the Xbox One was coming out, one of the things I think they should have announced, and they should have said in 2 years we'll be going this route. But instead they came out and said all the shit that people hated, like always online and all that crap.
Right.
Which I found really stupid because everyone's complaining always online, but if you live in the 21st century and have a phone, you're always online. If
you have a phone, PC, or tablet, that is
right.
kind of your life. You're always online.
It was just like people are so mad at that. I'm like,
yeah,
why? Why are you mad at that? It's a stupid thing to be mad at them for.
Yeah,
because you are always online.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, for instance, when you do it with your cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or better yet, when your cell phone's always connected to your computer in some way. That's called innovation.
Right.
Yeah, when the console does it, people get pissy. But you want to know, I think the problem is because I think why people got mad was because it took away a sense of control they had over the console. Because the whole point is I could choose to have the console and I could choose to have to offline, right?
Sure. Right.
But because consoles didn't always need online. That's the thing. Computers always need to be online to be really useful. Your cell phone doesn't necessarily need to be online, but in the past, 10 years, we've made it so that cell phones and phones can communicate so flawlessly, they might as well be the same thing.
Right.
But you have control over those two things. But a gaming console, I think people still have this mindset of it is more of a device/toy versus a tool.
Mm.
And I think that was it. I think when they were like, oh, it's always going to be online, right? They were like, oh, yeah, the next step, because it's going to be flawless streaming games, right? Like, that's where game developers are going, or publishers. But we're not really there, and people aren't comfortable with it.
Well, here's the thing. Like, a year later, we started getting smart TVs.
Right.
Yeah.
Which are always online.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But no one's complaining about that. TV and video games are the same fucking thing. They're entertainment. Tool or not, they're entertainment.
Yep.
So complaining about it always being online is stupid. But what I was getting at is I'll let someone contradict me in a minute. What I was getting at, if Microsoft said in 2 years we're going to have streaming gaming services, there wouldn't be any hate.
No, you're right. It is true. If they had announced that early on, if they had been like, hey, the reason why we're doing always on is because we want to get into streaming games, people would have like been like, oh, always on. Oh, wait, you're doing it purposefully. Okay, right. You got me. Like, but people want to like find ways to just bitch about it, find the flaw without waiting for things to happen, things to change.
Right. It's one of the reasons I don't. I mean, well, of course we'll cover E3, but it's one of the reasons I hate E3 because everyone's saying, "Oh, who won E3? Who won at E3?"
No one needs to win.
No one. It's not a fucking competition. It's a 6-day commercial.
Oh yeah, dude, it is.
That's what it is.
It is for me, trailer haven.
I think what happened.
Who won E3? Fuck off.
I think the whole competition idea though came from E3 itself. If you remember the summer the Xbox came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Barely.
It was competitive with PS2 because the Xbox was a new system, while the PS2 was an innovation on a previously successful system.
Right.
And E3 was the place because I remember watching G4 where they're like, "Oh man, the big Sony versus Microsoft battle begins," because right now you only have two real titans, right? But then, if you remember that summer, Nintendo dropped the GameCube.
And then dropped the GameCube.
And then dropped it,
yeah.
But like, I think people
not their greatest idea.
I think people keep the sense of competition in it because a part of it was good games come out of competition when people want to create the best product, right? However, people are treating it like that's the motivation of game companies, but it really isn't. The game company is just to make a game that allows them to continue making games.
Mm-hmm.
No, because Naughty Dog, I know people at Naughty Dog will congratulate Coalition who make Gears of War.
Yeah.
I mean, these are people who are in the same shit.
Dude, like,
so when they go to conventions like E3, it's a goddamn family reunion.
Let's take Naughty Dog. Look at Naughty Dog and Insomniac. They were willing to put their the innocence the opposing competitions, and I'll air quote that, characters in their own fucking games as an appreciation for them.
Right.
You know,
dude,
like-minded people creating games for their fans' enjoyments to rave about. And like those games were comparable when they were kind of I'd feel at their prime. You know, when both of them were out, it wasn't a competition of, oh man, I'm a Jack fan or I'm a Ratchet and Clank fan. It's like, fuck that. I love them both. They're both action-adventure platformers. One has an entire arsenal, like, cavalcade of weapons, and the other one's kind of more of a story-driven game.
But you wonder where...
Oh, go ahead.
You're absolutely right. But you wonder where the competition starts getting toxic and bad? Is when...
Always?
well, always. But specifically... Prince of Persia came out on the PS2, right? The first one.
Right.
Excellent game. Anyone who played any of the sequels will tell you they were subpar at best.
Right.
But what was wrong with the sequels was that the sequels were obviously trying to compete with God of War, which made absolute no sense because God of War had a different tone, had a different story objective, right?
Fucking different game. It was its own game.
That right there is the prime example of an exec meddling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's the story I've heard of Stan Lee. His editor at Marvel was out golfing with the editor for DC, and the editor for DC said to Marvel, "Hey, we got all our heroes are teaming up. We have the Super Friends."
Mm-hmm.
And so Marvel's, I don't forget his name. He came back to Stan Lee and said, "Stan, we need to make superhero groups. That's what's great." Now, he could have done a stupid thing and clumped all the heroes that he's made into one group, but instead he made the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Which is really smart.
Which proved to be a little bit better. But, it's things like that when you hear the tiniest little thing, or you see the tiniest little bit of success in something that is pseudo similar. It's genre, they're the same genre, but totally different games. But the exec sees the numbers and goes, "Make that like that."
Right.
And then it's bullshit. But the other thing is, it's also stupid fanboys.
Yes.
That spread this shit. And that's the other problem. And Adam Sessler said it best. Your guys are buying into a story that you haven't read yet. I'm paraphrasing him, but
yeah,
it's the truth. You don't know anything until these things come out. And, the fact that, people are complaining about features and stuff that no one knows anything about. Well, okay, I'm trying to think. When did Twitch... I need to look up when Twitch was started. Because streaming's still relatively new.
Oh yeah, no, it's a new beastie, and it's why, it's struggled to finally really crack down on what is acceptable and what isn't.
Introduced in
acceptable.
June 2011.
Okay.
What, Twitch?
Yes. I just looked it up.
It didn't take off until well after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably didn't take off until maybe a year or two after. And I want to say Netflix started streaming it around the same year.
Yeah, I feel it's fairly close, if not a little bit earlier. I would be surprised around the same time.
I think Microsoft is not a dumb, evil company the way people constantly want to portray it.
Of the companies out there, they're definitely not. Bill Gates is a philanthropist. And man cares more about people than anything.
People think Microsoft is evil because Microsoft makes a few bad decisions every now and then again. And they fix them, but not the way people think, which is they think yank the plug and just start from scratch.
Yeah. Whereas, everyone wants Windows 98, apparently. It's an asinine thought.
Well, it's like Vista wasn't great, right?
Sure.
No, it wasn't.
But everyone's like,
get over it.
You should have just scratched Vista and gone back to XP. And they're like, or we can make Windows 7.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, but why'd you support Windows Vista? And they're like, because a lot of companies still supported Vista. Like they got angry because Bill Gates was like, I'm not going to screw people who support a mediocre product.
I mean, and really, Vista wasn't Vista in its later years wasn't terrible. It got better, but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, I had Vista on the computer that I had right now, but now I have 7. I had Vista up until you helped me reformat it, Will. Which I don't want to say how long ago that was, but it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And Vista, I never had a problem with Vista. I have a problem with 7, where 7 won't let me drag around photos and won't let me organize the photos the way I want them to be organized. Haven't figured out how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't download pictures as much as I do anymore.
Yeah.
But still, that's one little complaint.
Right.
But yeah, Microsoft saw the writing on the wall with streaming and realized that, like, hey, if we introduce this now and then someone vetoed that idea, and they just got a whole lot of hate in 2013 at E3.
Yep.
And it was just undeserved hate. It wasn't like they were promising that thing was going to, play the most awesome games ever and masturbate.
Well, one of the things I think people were on edge about was the idea that the Kinect at the time was, like, mandatorily included, and it was always on, too. Now, granted, that's a little bit of a mess up. I wouldn't want a camera on all the time, right?
Right.
But on the flip side of it, the Kinect doesn't have recording features, or specifically the Xbox doesn't have recording features. I don't think.
It can record the game.
Yeah, but not you. But people got paranoid about themselves being recorded. Yeah. And I was like, I can understand the fear, but I have yet to see evidence that this is how the object functions.
Two things about that. One, if you had a Kinect and it was a lot of voice, I think a lot of people who have the Kinect like the voice operations. So you could say Xbox on, you could say do this, do that. And the cool thing was, like, Xbox record that, it would record the last 10 seconds and more of what you just did. If you did something really cool in a game. Something that really cool happened in For Honor recently, and I would have loved to record it, but I wasn't quick enough, was me and my teammate who was playing with, we both jumped down from a ledge onto 2 opposing teammates and killed them instantly. That would have been cool. It's very fun. So, that would have been cool to see and share, but I didn't record it, so, whatever. But that was the advantage of the Kinect. It wasn't the motion capture shit, it was the voice commands.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. When that was introduced, I want to say, like, a year before or more, I'm forgetting my history, Edward Snowden blew the whistle.
Yeah.
So you're asking people to buy a product that has a camera on it where they think that the NSA is watching them. Now, in my defense, if the NSA wants to watch me jerk off, sure. I'll give them a goddamn great view.
Yeah.
Because, at the same time, it's a camera. You turn it around and face it and let it face the wall. Or Will said that he would just put a magic card in front of it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's easy to fix. Just turn it around. Put a box over it.
I think it was really funny. Was Penny Arcade said it best.
Mm-hmm.
There was, like, a hidden shame of having a Kinect that knew you. Like, there was a comic where I think it was Tycho's like, the Kinect's great. It does all this stuff, and he turns the camera around, and then he's like, it's basically like turn on backyard sluts something. You know what I mean? And it's like, and he's like, I don't want you to see this. And I'm like, people have a right to privacy, but I wouldn't. At the time, I was just kind of like, I don't think the Kinect is built to spy on people intentionally.
Yeah, but at the same time, the report came out about Samsung's.
That's true, and I mean, webcams have always been.
Yeah. You don't know. Bottom line, like, no one knows. But again, this boils down to that, the hate, I think, was just bullshit. And I'm looking forward to the streaming of games. It will not stop me buying the games.
Right.
Netflix does not make me stop wanting to buy movies.
Oh, yeah. Because, Netflix is going through their own phase of, potentially phasing out certain elements of their streaming in favor of having their own, basically making Netflix its own network.
Yeah, I think in like another 3, 4, 5 years, something like that, it's half of their content will just be their content.
Right. So there's still a need for either me to have a Blu-ray or whatever. Like I bought John Wick 1 on through Amazon, and I can stream it that way. So
right.
And it was like $6-7 for the movie. So and I can watch that movie whenever I want to on whatever device I need to at this point. So whatever. I'm pretty happy with that.
And also the fact that I saw this today. I was watching Vice News on HBO because it's probably the only news thing I watch. But the last thing they were talking about was apparently vinyl last year outsold digital sales for music.
Dude, vinyl is coming back with vengeance. There are a lot of people that love it.
You know who has been pushing that?
Who?
Jack White.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right now he's the only person that has basically a vinyl factory in Detroit, and is making. I think he says with the machines that they have, which are brand new machines that can make vinyl records, because all the machines kind of went extinct.
Yeah.
With the machines that they have and the workers that he has, they make about 5,000 records in an 8-hour period.
Wow.
That's
but he
cool.
said something. It's very cool. Well, he said something that I thought was really interesting. Was people are tired, and I kind of agree with this. This is why I don't see it completely. You owning things will not completely go away.
Right.
Like actually holding the physical thing, because people want that tactile thing.
Oh, yeah.
They want to hold it. And, whatever that might be, a piece of vinyl, and then you put it on a record player and it plays, that's what they want. They want to feel it and they want to hold it. It's the same thing with DVDs. DVDs still offer a bunch of extra stuff, how they made the movies. You don't get that on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And with games, it's the same thing. Like, I own 2 of the all the games I have, I own 2 of them as well. Let me rephrase that. Of all the Xbox games I have, the Xbox One games, I own 2 actual physical copies. I own Doom and I own Gears of War.
Interesting.
And I own Doom because it was on sale, so I went and got it there.
Okay.
And I own Gears of War because I'm a big-ass fanboy and I wanted this collector's edition.
Yeah.
And I also wanted the statue of JD.
Yep, that's fair.
And I would love it if they made a statue of Marcus in his chair, holding a beer. Old man Marcus in the chair. That's what I want the next statue to be.
Yeah.
But it's like people want to own things, and I get it. Like, games will go digital. There will be room for that. They will also be able to buy a physical copy, because if they make the physical copy special, statues, more stuff, people will buy it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll kind of come full circle and then mate, for lack of a better description. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think will happen. So, but who knows? But I will look forward to June and see what everything happens, and see what Nintendo says, and see what EA says, and have everyone say who won E3 again, and then have other people say, oh, it's dying. Shut up. And then we'll just, pick and choose what's going to happen in the next 6 months of this year. And I'll see another trailer for God of War and go, I have to get a PS4.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, same here. Oh, God of Dad.
I already have $5 down on it.
Nice.
You prick.
Yep,
I still haven't played 3. I want to play 3.
So Shane, I have a quick query for you, since we're on this concept of physical and digital.
Sure.
What do you like between the two? Do you typically enjoy picking up the game digitally, or do you like a physical copy?
So it actually kind of depends on the game.
Sure.
For instance,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, I like having a physical copy of games like Uncharted, right?
Sure.
Because the big thing is, like, my argument always for physical versus digital, because I had a friend once, right, and he said, why do you buy full seasons of anime or movies when you could just watch them online?
Right.
And my argument was, well, I don't have to wait for it to buffer. I don't need an internet connection. And if the power goes out of my house in the next blizzard, I can boot up this DVD player and pop it in.
Okay.
Like, that was my thought process. And when it comes to video games, it's a little similar to the line of, like, if it's a game that doesn't need online connectivity, and I want to play it later, I can. If I have the physical copy. Like, for instance, I have a PS2 still. When I traded in a bunch of my games, I didn't trade in, like, 5 of my favorite games.
Sure. And
that's because if I want that nostalgia kick and I want to play it, I will play it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if it's a game like, for instance, For Honor.
Sure.
For Honor would probably be better to have digitally in the sense that, like...
It'll just run faster?
It might survive the generation switch.
Sure.
For instance, right now, For Honor's not doing so hot on Steam. But it's thriving on both consoles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when the consoles switch, and say there isn't a For Honor 2, just say hypothetically, right? I can see a lot of people jumping on Steam to keep the game going.
Or I mean, like, when I doubt the next consoles are coming anytime soon.
Oh yeah.
We're just getting upgrades of Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're going back to the same conversation, if Microsoft is smart and goes with streaming, we'll still have those games for a good long time.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I like both. I like the idea of streaming games before I buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the idea of playtesting, because something I miss is demo discs.
Dude, right?
In fact, actually, one of the games I have on my PS2 is called Smash Cars. It was a game I played on the last sent out PS2 demo disc, I think. And I played it, and I was like, oh, this game is awesome if I ever find it anywhere. And then, of course, I went to Strawberries, which was part of EA, or EB, and I found it, and I was like, it's the holy grail of games. I have to buy it. Right? So, there was that. But at the same time, I like the idea of digital libraries because it makes certain games that you can't find anymore that you don't have available. Like, I went on the PSN network. I could find War of the Monsters, which I don't know if either of you guys played, but that game was awesome.
War of the Monsters, yeah.
I also have War of the Monsters.
That's the fighting game, right?
Yeah. Yes, that plays like cinema movies.
I fucking love it. I rented that game constantly. I loved it.
Yep. You could get that now on the PSN network. And you could also get one of Ashley's favorite games, which is Kinetica.
Oh, dude, I remember Kinetica.
Kinetica was the first racing game that came out on the PS2 that was, like, not a car game. It's like a full-body suit cyber game.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, okay.
That game was sweet.
Never got a sequel, but I was super surprised because it was on there. And I was like, well, Ash, if you ever want to buy it again, you can. Yeah. Granted, I still have my PS2, and Ashley still has a Kinetica disc, and she's like, but why would I do that?
Right, exactly.
I'm like, well, we don't have a TV for the PS2 right now. Just saying. But I like this idea of both, right? I like I like being able to have the physical thing, and the idea that one day I want to be able to play it if I can't find it anywhere else. But on the flip side, I'm very happy to know that companies are making this effort to digitize things that are good and should be played often.
Yeah.
Like,
I would love Nintendo to get off their ass and digitize their whole library and make that accessible.
I mean, considering how much they're wasting in terms of resources on the fucking cartridges and boxes for the Switch, I'd like it too. That's the most disgraceful waste of plastic I've ever seen.
It's old Japanese tradition bullshit.
God, it's so worthless.
The same family has ran Nintendo for the past 100 years.
Probably
number greater than one.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
They won't move ahead. So, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we had nothing to talk about.
Well, I mean, I had a pretty awesome weekend.
Yeah, you were busy this weekend enjoying yourself. Tell the kids at home what you were doing.
Damn.
So, I got to work at PAX. Right. Well, so it was really interesting.
I'm dead set on going to West, so
I hope you guys could come to East next year. That would be cool.
I mean, it'd be cool to check out East as well. I'd love to.
It would definitely be cool. I mean, I told you the other day, my goal would be to go to all 4. Yeah.
I think that's a really good goal to have. I kind of like it. So I worked it, and I worked at a booth for Has Been Heroes, which is a game being published by Game Trust, which GameStop owns. Now, the cool thing was, I thought I was only going to work the 5-hour shift I had, and then I'd have to leave.
Sure.
Nope. I worked the whole weekend, so I got my own pass.
Which is dope.
Nice.
Yep. And actually, Nick, you said I had the typical PAX experience, but I think I had like an atypical one in the sense that like I didn't really get a full guest experience, but I wanted to have the responsibilities of a full exhibitor. But I did notice that like I was really grateful to actually be part of an exhibition booth because, you know, there's so much to do, so much to see, right? But having a reason to stay in one spot, you see a lot of cool shit just from other people rotating around you.
Yeah. No, I get that. I've worked a few booths, so
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it makes sense.
If you ever have the opportunity to volunteer for anything, anyone who's listening, you always should. It's always a cool experience.
I've worked 2 PAXs before for different companies. One great experience, one shite experience.
Yeah, it does depend on who your boss is.
Yeah. Or who the... I don't think so much is who's your boss. It's who's taking care of the booth, who's the head of the booth, and how like comfortable are they, you know, doing events like that.
Yeah.
Not very. If that is the answer, run away.
Yeah.
So
I had one company that we were very comfortable doing events. Considering spoiler alert, we get to run all the GPs for the next couple of years. So go Channel Fireball on that one.
Excellent, eh?
So we know how to run an event.
Well, the interesting thing though is my job wasn't that hard.
Mm.
I had a bingo roller. You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah.
And it had colored balls in it, and we had 5 types of balls for 5 pins that we were giving away.
Okay.
And one of the balls was yellow, and it was the only one in there. And if you got that one, I gave you all 5 pins.
Dope.
Nice.
And that was my whole job. Like, people would play the demo, and then they would try to win pins. And my coworkers hated me. Everyone at the booth hated me who wasn't, like, a manager of the booth. They're like, you have the easiest job. Because just talking to people and giving out prizes.
My life is hard.
also, on the last day, I got to sit the entire time.
Which is nice. Always nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
But I had fun with it, and like one of the cool parts of the experience was just meeting all the different types of exhibitors and the type of people who go to PAX.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool because like I met some people who obviously look like PAX attendees.
Mm-hmm.
And I would talk to them, and it's like, oh, it's actually our first time going to PAX. I'm like, oh shit! And then I would meet people who, like one guy who looked like my dad actually, like he looked like he wasn't really big on the video game scene, and he's been going to PAX East for like 7 years.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, you're so cool. And so, like, that's like one part of it that was like interesting, especially also the people who just wanted the pins.
Yeah.
Because these weren't PAX official trading pins or anything, but we had them, and this was the last time we were giving them out.
Cool.
Yeah, pins are a weird thing at PAX. Like, everyone fucking wants them.
Oh, dude, I met a pin guardian. I met a guy who was fucking armed to the teeth in pins. It was pretty impressive. But
yeah, you meet a lot of those.
But so that was really cool, and you know the booth I was working at, Has Been Heroes. Let me tell you a little bit about this game because it's actually quite interesting. It's a roguelike that plays like a harder version of Plants vs. Zombies.
Okay.
Yep. The premise of the game is great too, by the way. The premise of the game is a long time ago there was a bunch of badass heroes. Mm-hmm. It's like 50 to 100 years later, and the king's like, I call upon any heroes that are still alive. There are 2 of them, and then they have one apprentice who's a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a badass. And the other heroes, they're old and they're tired, and so the name of the game is Has Been Heroes, and his job for you is to take his twin daughters to princess school.
Okay.
It already sounds like a Double Fine game, right? A lot of people were like, "Are you guys Double Fine?" We're like, "No, this company is actually called Frozen Byte. They're in Sweden." But so that's the game. You can recruit more heroes, right? You recruit more heroes that are past their prime, is what it is. And so how it works is there's 3 lanes. There's 3 heroes at a time that you can have out, and then the 2 princesses trail behind them. And you kind of slowly walk towards the enemy, and the enemy slowly walk towards you. And it's basically just timing attacks and switching stuff around at the right moments, right?
Right.
But it's also a roguelike, which means if something dies, it's dead for good. And all the levels are always randomized. No 2 playthroughs are the same.
Alright, so it's procedurally generated in a way.
Yeah. And it's got a really clean, cartoony look. And so, at first, it's like, oh, okay, I hear about this game a lot at work, whatever. I know a little bit about it. I read up on it. To see it actually get to play it was kind of cool. It's definitely a more relaxing roguelike because of how silly it is. It doesn't stress you out, like the management's not as crazy, at least from the demo, anyways. One thing the developer said was it could take anywhere from 50 to 150 hours to beat.
Jesus.
Yeah, depends on how well you learn from mistakes.
What was its name again?
Has Been Heroes.
I think I ran into that.
Yeah.
I saw a cover for it, and I was like, this looks sweet.
It looks fun, and it's actually coming out on all the systems. It's going to be on Steam. It's all going to be on PS4. It's going to be on Xbox One, and it's going to be on the Switch.
Okay.
And that actually...
Oh, yeah, I have seen this game.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I want to talk about this game a little bit because it's so much like fun to do it. And actually, one thing that really got people jazzed about it was they were watching the developers play. Because the game feels kind of slow in the demo, right? Because you don't know what you're doing. Once you know what you're doing, that game becomes incredibly fast-paced. Like, the developer, he was just sitting there, and he was just cranking out combos and, like, doing all this crazy stuff, and his management was, like, top-notch. And, like, there was this one guy who, him and his kid would keep coming because his kid was just mesmerized by this game.
That's good.
He would just sit there next to the developer and watch it. I don't think the kid even knew that it was the developer. So that was interesting.
I don't think a kid would.
Yeah. Well, he was like 6.
Right, yeah. The kid, no, he just likes the game.
Yeah. And actually, one other game that really caught my eye, one that I wasn't expecting, was our neighbor, which was called Brawlhalla.
Oh, yeah, Brawlhalla, I know of them.
Yeah, right? I never heard about this game.
Oh, really?
And so they had tournaments there.
Yeah.
And so I walked over, I asked what it was about, and they're like, oh yeah, this is Brawlhalla, it's a platformer fighting game, right? I'm like, okay, what's going on with that? Well, we're on competitive season number 4. And I was like, what? I didn't know this game was already out. They're like, no, it's an open beta. The game launches soon, though.
Yeah, everything's in beta.
Yeah. But that game looked really cool because it had this really awesome, fast-paced, like, platformer feel. And I was really digging that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, too, like, I could see, like, what their whole model, it's like, it's free to play. There's no in-game transactions. There's going to be ranked gameplay. There's going to be non-ranked gameplay. All sorts of fun game modes. And I was like, oh, this is actually neat. It's very different from, like, a lot of the other stuff you normally see. Especially, like, because, as Nick put it, a lot of people were just making MOBAs all the time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to see a platform fighter, and, like, a really solid one, I was like, oh, this is great. Especially since it's kind of reminiscent of Smash Bros. Without being Smash Bros.
Right. That's the thing I liked about it most, is that it's a Smash Bros-esque game without it being Smash Bros.
Yeah. Now, one other game that you've probably heard us talk about is Pyre, which is Supergiant Games.
Oh, yes.
I have not heard.
It's their newest game that they've been working on, and it's a tactics RPG, if I remember correctly, Shane?
Yes, that's what it looked like anyways.
And it's you control 3 characters that are clad in blue and I think have masks through an adventure. I don't know too much past like the little images that I've seen for it. Other than I'm guessing that Pyre has to do something with some level of fire.
I could not actually
Seems
get
like
any
it.
story info.
Okay.
I couldn't. The booth was really crowded all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I was able to watch some gameplay of it, and not just campaign stuff for the demo. There's actually were 1v1 battles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there is like a PvP element to it, which is
pretty dope.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cool because it's tactics.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who's ever played like a Final Fantasy Tactics game, those games are just fun on their own, especially since you can do it at your own pace. But to be able to do like player versus player scenario is always fun because it's basically chess.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play the Final Fantasy Tactic games. I was waiting for them to come on Steam since all of the others came on Steam.
Seriously,
right?
And they haven't yet, so I'm a little kind of irked at that.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Well, what was it? And then the last game I want to talk about, Dauntless.
Yeah, Dauntless looks so dope.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Dauntless is basically the online Monster Hunter we've always wanted, and it's gonna be free to play.
Okay.
Well, I
don't
mean,
know
like,
where you two stand.
Well, I mean, like, the problem is Monster Hunter is only on the 3DS right now in America.
Mm-hmm.
There's no console plans. If it came out on the Switch, that'd be pretty good for the game. But ultimately, right now, they have two online
pretty good
games.
for the system.
It would be very good for the system. Pretty good is like putting it mildly.
Yeah.
But the big issue with Monster Hunter and Capcom is it never gets localized to America. Fully, anyways.
Okay.
So, with getting Dauntless, it's like, oh, these guys want to make a Monster Hunter type game online, and it's going to be free to play. And from what I saw from the gameplay, it's looking pretty solid. The combat is reaction-based, which is what it should be. The monsters have the good animation cues. It flows really well, played really smoothly. The only thing that's still lacking, from what I can tell, is the world isn't as developed as you want it to be.
Sure.
But I think that's just more of like, that's not where they're at right now in the game development.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But because the world right now, the problem is it's massive. Like, I watched these group of people walk around for like 15 minutes and they couldn't locate the monster at first. And they all split up in different directions and like did all this crazy looking around. Obviously later on the developers like, we're gonna have gathering, we're gonna have like fishing and other things to do.
Cool.
Or item gathering, I guess is more to it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is obviously a game that I'm jazzed about. Will's jazzed about, right?
Oh yeah.
Looks pretty.
What system is it?
It's gonna be PC.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
and it's
cool.
gonna be free to play. That's the best part.
That is the best part about it. The FTP model for this type of game is so good. I'm stoked about it. I'm in the group that wants Monster Hunter Online or Monster Hunter Frontier, either one of the MMOs, to finally come to America, and God only knows we aren't getting it anytime soon, and it's fucking frustrating. And I'm so tired with this, with Capcom. I get it. You don't want to invest into it and like get blown out. I get it. But damn, man, if like there aren't enough people here that probably already play either version of it, and they just like they've downloaded the program so they could hop on specific servers that are accessible for us.
Dude, there are people learning Japanese just to be able to play this game.
Right. It's frustrating, but I'm excited for for us to get a Monster Hunter game, and my only hope is that it plays just as fun.
One thing I will say too, like looks wise, everything looks good, right?
Yeah.
And even like the choice of like the colors are brighter. It's a little bit more softer, a little bit more fantasy.
It's more stylized in general.
Yeah. But from gameplay so far, they're keeping to their word. The group hunting looks good. The combat looks solid. I'm just hoping that when push comes to shove, it when it's time to come to release, this game definitely they do the big world building they keep talking about, because that's definitely going to help it. Because I haven't seen anything like it. Like this, the world's fucking massive right now.
Oh yeah.
granted, I didn't get to play this game. This was the one game I only got a long distance demo of, and I'm kind of sad because I really wanted to play it.
A game like that you'll never get to play at a convention.
Oh yeah, no. The line was basically I got in as an exhibitor. I got in early. I got in an hour early, right?
Right.
The Dauntless booth, their policy was not to be open to anyone who wasn't press, I think.
That's fair.
Until 10, when everyone else came in. And by the time 10 opened, if you weren't right there, boom. Like, line.
Oh, yeah.
Insta-line. And actually, there was one other game that was heavily like that, and that was the Mass Effect Andromeda one.
No surprise there.
Yeah, no surprise.
Well, also, they had 2 places for it. They had a booth on the exhibition floor, and then they had a room upstairs day 1. And the room upstairs was purely for multiplayer. And that was crazy. Like, one of my coworkers got to do that, and he had a blast.
Nice.
Yeah,
and, like...
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it was 2015. Yeah, 2015 was the last PAX that I went to. And me and Will were both trying to get to the For Honor booth and the Dark Souls 3 booth.
Yeah.
And I got, at the last day of PAX, me and Will just said, okay, we'll just meet up. And I got at PAX at 10, went to where the booths were, and they already had it capped.
Jeez.
Yep.
It was a 3-hour wait. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just wait until the game comes out.
All right.
On some level, though, I take that back. If you got a chance to play Dark Souls 3 at the con, you would have still picked it up.
I still would have picked it up because I still would have enjoyed the gameplay. I still would have enjoyed the game. I just would have felt a little let down about the end of it, and then really let down by the first DLC. And speaking of which, the second one comes out at the end of this month. So I'm hoping that more than makes up for the atrocity that was the first DLC for that game.
Right.
God only knows that was a giant flop for me. I think other people felt it was pretty lackluster as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dark Souls is probably a game I won't play. I mean, I like watching Let's Players do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know about playing it. Though I wouldn't mind setting up a system where maybe like a Let's Play of you and I, Will, of you watching me play Bloodborne.
Dude, I'd enjoy
That would
it.
be awesome.
Because Bloodborne would be interesting. Because, man, I'm just thinking about it would frustrate the fuck out of me.
Speaking of Bloodborne, I saw something really rare that I never see of.
Okay.
I saw a Bloodborne cosplayer.
Oh,
okay.
Who were they cosplaying as?
Just a hunter. Had a saw cleaver and everything.
Nice.
I saw that, and I walked by him, and he obviously, I think he felt like no one was recognizing him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So I walked by and I was like, fear the old blood. And he was like, yeah, and I'm like, rock on. And of course, my coworker, he plays Bloodborne, and he goes, oh shit, it's a hunter. Like, he didn't even recognize it at first either. I'm like, dude, saw cleaver.
Dude, the problem is, and I don't know if this was intentional by FromSoft or if they kind of goofed it. It's really unfortunate that the Abyss Watchers and all the hunters look so similar.
Yeah, I mean, like I've watched the game a lot.
Yeah.
It's one. Everything is very dark.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like trench coats would be the perfect thing to cannibalize and make a costume out of.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of character to it.
Yes.
But again, if it's like Shane or something like that, or a hardcore fan, no one will really recognize it amongst a con.
Right.
You know, because most characters that people are cosplaying as are very colorful, or not maybe colorful in the generic kind of just big umbrella, but like very out there. And a hunter, I feel, isn't.
It's very dark. It's very,
Yeah.
very, very black.
Honestly,
yeah.
he had a pretty good original look. Like, he had the straps, the leather jacket, the hat, the gloves,
Yeah.
And I was like, and I appreciated it. Granted, you want to, I didn't see a lot of, right?
Uh-huh.
I didn't see a lot of what you think your typical cosplays were. Funny thing, Diva was the cosplay of the month.
No surprise.
Okay.
They were
Yeah,
not surprised, but something funny that happened. My coworker was a guest on day 2, but she had to get her badge from her friend inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But the thing is, her friend was waiting in line, so we had to go locate her.
Okay.
And she goes, okay, she's waiting in line at the Final Fantasy 14 thing. And I'm like, cool. What does she look like? Well, she's cosplaying Diva. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, she's roughly around my height. Okay. And she's, a little, she's not like heavy, but she's like, I'm like average weight. And she goes, yeah. I go, and let me guess, she has brown hair? She goes, yeah. And I go, okay, so I'm looking for an average white girl with brown hair in a Diva costume. And I look at my coworker, I'm like, how hard do you think that's going to be find? And he goes, I have 4, just walk by. I was like, I gave her this look, I'm like, you're asking for a lot.
Seriously.
Granted, we did locate her. We got the badge. Oh. Actually, my coworker was able to get in. They let her through security so we could locate her badge. She just stuck with me and, we just asked around to get directions. Cool. Oh my god, it took fucking forever to we went up to these enforcers. I was like, "Hey, where's this? Where's the Alcatraz Theater?" They go opposite side of the building. And I give my coworker this look, and I'm like, "I better get some damn XP after this."
Yeah, right.
Fucking mini quest. But I wasn't really that mad. I was kind of just more annoyed because I was like, "God damn it, don't know where I'm going." But as far as cosplays go, there were some fucking kick-ass ones that Supergiant must have been excited. I can't remember the name of the character from Transistor. But there were 24 of her.
That cosplay for as I'll air quote the word old. For as old as that game is, that cosplay is done up. I think every PAX I've been to, or that the game has been out. There's at least 1 to 2 people cosplaying as that character.
I saw at least a dozen, and I saw all 3 variants.
Yeah.
I saw one as the yellow dress only.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one as the modified dress with the jacket.
Okay.
And then I saw the one with the jacket and the dress, but no sword. And that was really cool, because I was like, oh, I like that character. I mean, I wish Transistor was a better game, but I like that character.
Yeah. That was kind of like me and Will with Elizabeth's.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because we saw, from Bioshock Infinite, so we saw, I think every other variant of Elizabeth's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Over the 4 days we were at PAX one year.
Burial at Sea, beginning of the game and end of the game, Elizabeth.
I saw only one Elizabeth.
Oh.
Burial at Sea variant.
Yeah, we also saw, the beat-up Elizabeth, halfway through, going through the battle. And we saw one Booker DeWitt who's just not having it.
Yeah.
That guy was kind of an ass. He just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
What was it? I saw a Rick from Rick and Morty cosplay.
Was it good?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Nice.
I also saw a Scott Pilgrim.
All right,
and these
cool.
and these were some of the people who visited my booth, and I did this little extra service to the cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to them like they were the character.
Okay.
So when Rick came up, I was like, yeah, gee whiz, Rick, I don't know if you really want to get one of these pins. I mean, they're kind of okay, just, you gotta, I mean, Rick, if you could just do, roll the thing, you might get a prize.
Mm-hmm.
And he totally...
Did they respond in kind?
Oh yeah, he burped, he did the whole thing.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Because that could be a hard voice. I find that voice hard to do. If he can do it.
Yeah, it's
pretty rough. He didn't do the voice, but he did the inflection pretty well.
Oh, okay.
The Scott Pilgrim was great. I was like, hey, I heard you're the best fighter in all of Quebec. and he was like, I mean, I did cheat over that one skateboard dude. and I did that for the cosplayers because obviously they put effort in and they want to be recognized.
Ooh, did you watch that TED Talk with Adam Savage?
Yes, I did.
About his, that right there is, we should probably link that on the page. And that right there is the reason why people do cosplays. They don't want to just dress up; they want to be that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for all the divas I saw, only 4 showed up to the booth. And every time, though, I would be like, I just like, hey, I'm your biggest fan. and that was enough to, make their day.
Did you ever have one of them say, I have a boyfriend?
No, but one of them did do the winky face. And I was like, oh, so, that was pretty cool. One other funny thing was my coworker, he was super into, taking pictures with some of the cosplayers that he thought were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Oh my god, I lost track of him twice. We were walking around and he just fucking disappears to go take photos.
Shit.
And at one point I was like, I should have bought a leash. Like one of those child harnesses. I didn't say that to him, but if he listens to this, sorry, but like he disappeared like twice. Not seriously bad though. Like he would just. I think what would happen is I'd be looking around and he'd be like, "Oh shit, Shane," and then he'd just go and expect me to be like on his 6.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh Lord.
But it was
there
fun.
was a
It
there
sounds
was
like
a
you had
year.
a good time for your first PAX at that.
Yeah, for your first PAX, so it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, one other thing, because I know Dashiell listens to this. We had a Geralt show up to the booth. The guy was super convincing.
Oh, did he
Well,
sound
that's good.
boring and uninteresting to chat with?
Okay,
Oh.
okay, you can shut it for a second.
Hey,
I know
man,
you
I'm
don't
just
like
saying,
him. I know you don't like
his
him.
characters just.
But I was like, Witcher, try your thing at the game. And one of the things Witchers do is they can manipulate chance with a few
Right.
hand symbols. And he did the hand symbols. I watched it. It was awesome.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to throw that one out there.
That's cool. Speaking of trying to communicate with people, I think it was one year. Your phone, Will, your old phone,
Oh God.
went to shit
Yeah.
at like day 1.
Yep.
Was it that? I think it was.
I got off the plane. My phone was dead.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and so communicating with Will was a bit difficult.
Yep.
We tried through Facebook Messenger, him with his iPad, me with my phone.
Yeah.
It kind of worked if internet cooperated.
Oh yeah. It was. It honestly, if we had like signifiers, it would have been way easier to communicate.
We developed a system. Like, I'm going to be on this floor over here, and like, oh yeah, I'm going to be over here, and we were veterans of the PAXs, so it's like we know where the flow was.
Oh yeah.
So we could catch each other.
Yep.
But it was that was a trial. Yeah, so we know about miscommunications.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good for your first PAX, man.
Oh, yeah. Definitely want to have one with you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, that'd be a goal.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean,
I
there's
guess
definitely
that's
more to
what we
talk
got.
about, but we got to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we gotta
it's
go.
time to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
right. Yeah, I guess we're out.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, and definitely check out the Facebook page. We should have a very interesting announcement this week.
Yep, we should.
Yeah. All right, people. We're out. Peace.
Later.
Later days.